let's get this video freaking cranking. Okay, usually I'm like really energetic and yelling at the camera. Don't think that's going anywhere. I'm about to get into it, but I'm learning to like calm down before I really get into it. You know what I mean? So what I really want to touch on to get us started is like the basic information that you need to start this off, right? So if you want to make your personal brand, you're stuck, you don't know where to start, you have a service, the service is running, but I just need to make sure some systems are plugged up in there to know. I know when a customer looks at my page, everything's where it needs to be. Everything looks professional and it stays professional, right? All throughout the platform to platform transitioning, right? So guys, if you don't know if you're an online coach, how do you move people from platform to platform? We've talked about it in the previous videos. In this video, we're gonna go over just how to plug and play and what to look for and what others look for when they come in and they want an offer for your coaching, for your service, or whatever it may be. All right, so first things first is let's nail the offer. Guys, you have to nail that bad boy on the head. If you don't have any clarity and you don't know what your offer is, you're tripping, you're not gonna go anywhere, and you're gonna stay stuck and stagnant, and that's not what we want here. All right, so what do I do? Okay, so I help businesses humanize themselves, right? To where I can turn your influence into income. Not only that, but I help creators, businesses, online coaches not only brand themselves, but I plug and play the certain systems that are going to help them bring income organically, whether it be through ads, and of course, whatever it is I want to put into play, right? So, what we post is typically what we attract, wouldn't you agree? So what do we post? And I want us to think about this. And a lot of people miss this, and I know I talk about it all the time, but this game is pretty freaking simple. You just got to understand the game. We got to post the certain stuff we want to attract. Okay, so for an example, I have a guy who's a construction worker. What does he post about? His journey, his life, and how he got to where he got, right? And so what is he attracting? He started a whole community, and his fulfillment cell is literally construction and blue collar and how to get out of a 9-to-5 and escape the matrix of a vice, right? And if anybody doesn't know what a vice is, he's literally bringing people closer to his Heavenly Father. And once you do that and you get rid of vices, you come fulfilled with whatever it is your purpose may be, okay? So first things first is in the bio, what do you have in your bio, okay? Does it talk about what it is you post or what it is you do or what your offer is, what your service is? What does it say? Simplify it. Like mine is so simple. It literally says, I humanize businesses for people who don't just want followers, but want income as well. Simple, short, sweet, straight to the point. It's a great hook because that sounds damn good if you ask me, right? Perfect. Okay, and right under that, I'm talking about my other service that I have a whole other account for. So if you don't have two accounts made, one from your personal brand or your personalized account from your actual service, once again, step 2, you're tripping. Okay, so make that, get our bio tagged in. Guys, get the bios clean, talk about what it is your offer is. Another thing I see is your community. You have no community, you have no fulfillment going on, all right? How do you expect to keep people in the loop? You just won't, all right? You have no broadcast channel on Instagram either. How do you expect to keep people in the loop? You just won't, all right? So what do you got to do if you're like, Ashton, well, I can't get a broadcast channel, I need more followers. Well, how do you get more followers? One, you can always buy a $20 ad a day for $100 a week and get a crazy amount of followers off rip. If you want to go the organic route, go find people who are playing in the same field as you, right? The same industry as you. Go talk to them, go message them, go comment, go like, go DM, go repost, go share. Guys, start group communities, start everything. You need to know everybody in your Instagram. If you don't, you're missing out on thousands of dollars. That's how I built my following. That's how I built my relationship, because do you honestly think people are just going to naturally say, I want your coaching, man, with having nothing to prove for it? With having nothing to show of like if your last name means everything to you or not? It just won't exist. So good luck with that, okay? So why do you think Ashton is always throwing out his knowledge on YouTube? Why do you think Ashton's always making a broadcast channel showing what? What do I have in my broadcast channel? I have scripture alignment, all right? I have affirmations. I have pre-posts, so before I even post on Instagram, people are already seeing it. I put polls in there. What am I doing? I'm just bringing fulfillment to my page in all certain areas and aspects, okay? Not even that, but when I bring clients on, if you don't know your clients on 3 different platform levels, you're crazy. right? So I might even have them on Snapchat. I'm texting them. I'm on Instagram. I'm liking their stories. I'm reposting their stuff. Guys, why do I do that? It keeps them all connected, and the algorithm loves a good family tree, because eventually not only will your family eat in your business, but their family tree will eat. Because why? The algorithm is sensing we're all an impact on that tree together, okay? So 2 is like, what's our traffic source? We just talked about this. So what are we posting every day? Okay, are we posting exactly what it is we want to attract? So what's your niche when you start an Instagram? You need a niche. All right, what was Kyle's niche? I talked about it. It was construction, all right? And then I had another person who was anorexic. So what does she talk about? Her knowledge with body dysmorphia, body image, her meals, how to keep herself looking nice, pretty, and lean, you know? The fit she uses, how to learn her love herself. That's what she replicates to her page. So what is she going to attract every time? That exact stuff. So niche down into something that's very, very, very specific. Start making content altering towards those things, okay? Those are your tools to utilize, all right? This is what's going to pull the emotion out of them before they even get to the emotion part of the set in the DMs, inbound or outbound, whether that be from lead or organically, right? I always talk about ads too. Ads are great. Don't get me wrong. I've ran plenty of them. Have I had the best luck? I do have a lot of luck when it comes to followers and people engaging with me, and then later on turning into a deal, right? So don't look at ads as a right then and there signature, okay? Ads is just another way to get more lead funnels, to get you more exposure to the nurturing side of the close, right? And how do we nurture? It's by that engagement funnel I talked about. So you want more followers, go engage. Go talk to people. Bring them in. They start watching your story. Now your story is talking about your routine. It's talking about your journey, your life, the way you live, your scriptures, your journal. Everything is just being tagged in, and those daily wins turn into long revenue of freedom. All right? So those consistent, boring little habits that you think aren't going anywhere, they do lead to freedom. All right? So keep tacking them on. That's why I have my guys on Pivotal Edge. When you come in, there's accountability regimen. You're knocking out your scriptures, you're knocking out your journaling, you're knocking out your prayer, you're meditating, you're visualizing your future, right? You're putting your meals in there, you're posting your pump pics. Guys, if I don't see that stuff in my community, there's something going wrong and I'm not leading from the front, so what do I got to do as a coach? I got to wake them up every single day. You want your cancel ratio to drop? You need to wake them up every day. Not everybody's going to be freaking led to the water, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. But if you pat it, you saddle the horse up, you brush it, you comb it, you conditioner it, guess what? It might just drink a sip or two. All right? And that's the game of coaching. That's why we're coaches. And that's what makes a good coach from a bad coach. All right? Second is our traffic force. We just talked about this is what we're posting. We want to post what we want to attract, okay? So get creative. Little things I've learned about the algorithm is it loves the long, like when we press see more on a caption, you know those reels that'll put like, you know, 10 things on why I stay close to my Heavenly Father, and then it'll be like 10 scriptures on why in the comments. Guys, that stuff in time, when it comes to the algorithm, is time sensitive. Okay, so the algorithm is going to push it 10 times as much. It might be a simple post and picture, but guess what? People are reading those comments for a second, because why? It's almost like a Bible down there, and people get really into it if you post that knowledge you need to do so, right? ChatGPT will help you. It's a big tool of mine. I'm not perfect when it comes to literature, so I need it to double check me sometimes. Or vice versa, if I don't know something, I'm going to go look it up and plug it into that criteria of what I need. All right? But 70% needs to be reels. If you're not slinging out personality, reels, and knowledge, what do I mean by personality? Bring out your confidence. See how I have belief and conviction on the camera right now? I'm showing who I am and what I know and what I believe in, because why? This stuff sells and my product's real and I believe in it. Okay, so what do you got to replicate through the camera? Same thing. So I need your personality to come out. I need your knowledge to come out. Drop some education in there. People love education. They love time-sensitive stuff, and it can be even really short, quick, and to the point. You know what I mean? Just get a good hook in the first 3 seconds of your reel. When it comes to posts, guys, post carousels. Carousels are highly favored when it comes to knowledge, because once again, time sensitive. And the algorithm loves it. I don't know why. It must be the swipes. It'll see what they like on what swipe. So it can be the 4th picture, and that's where everybody liked it, right? But what we want is them to go through the whole thing, and then on that last one, we want them to like it, and then we want them to comment and repost. Why? Because it shows they just went through your post, and it was good, quality, aesthetics were there, and it had meaning. All right, and what would be the meaning? man, put some stuff on there through Canva, all right? Put some knowledge on your pictures. Stop posting just an aesthetic picture unless it's tough, unless it's hard, and you know it just needs to be the picture. You'll know what I mean, okay? Use some knowledge, add some stuff in there. Like you'll see my girls, they'll post their little meals, right? And they'll put the grams, they'll put the recipe, and they'll just put like Monday through Sunday meal preps, and which is cute and aesthetic and cool. You know me, I like putting my daily affirmations. It's like, my mindset is worth millions. I get paid to exist. Money doesn't work for me. I work for money. Gotcha. That's not how it goes. Money works for me. I don't work for money. All right. My mindset is worth millions. I get paid to exist. My name is being spoke upon in the highest of rooms. So like I'm always making little Instagram carousels about that. So he's 70% reels. The other 30% needs to be Instagram pictures, all right? And then 7 to 20 posts a day on the stories, just showing the way we live, all right? So the traffic source is that we need to always keep it simple, okay? Daily traffic actions, this is my routine. This is what I do every day to stay consistent. Of course, I do my morning routine with the journal, scriptures, prayer, meditation, visual work, but I'm always coming over here and I'm keeping my traffic source simple. Okay, why? Because getting in this routine is going to keep the algorithm consistent, more healthy, and it's going to be favoring you. Hella. Okay, so daily traffic actions, I'm always posting reels with authority and proof. What do I mean when I say authority and proof? Okay, look how I'm talking. I'm talking with what? Conviction, belief, and authority, without a doubt, right? So anything you say through a screen needs to come to reality to their screen, right? So it needs to call them out. We need some drama. We need some diversity in there. We need people to engage with whatever our voice is slinging out right there. Okay, so bring your authority out. All right, plus with the proof. Okay, so you could do like this. You ever seen a coach get on another coach's wallpaper or green screen and they want to go on there and talk crap about them and says, I like this idea, but this is what he did wrong? Do some stuff like that, right? Or another version of proof can be get some clients in there. All right, get some customer testimonials going on. Show people what you do. We need to be so prioritized on what it is we offer that's what we post. Whether that be on our actual servicing page through our like Instagram we made for our service or our personalized page. I recommend doing both with collabs. Okay. We just talked about stories. CTAs, DM me scale. Guys, if you go through my stories, you're seeing one thing all the time. Swipe up coach. Swipe up coach. DM me scale. Right? Why am I talking about this stuff? It's called CTAs, call to action, right? So we can put a recipe with a link in there and say, hey guys, swipe up if you want my recipe. Boom. Then we get their email. Now they're getting our emails, and then we can turn it into the customer relationship portal, and we're keeping it up there. Right? It's sending emails to them. It's sending their text messages to their phone. Guys, there's so many ways to keep leads in track because eventually you will get to a point where there's so much and there's overflow and you don't know how to keep track of all the leads you had dialed in on, okay? So CRMs are very important when it comes in there, but at first, call to actions of like DM me coach, DM me scale are very important. Make sure people are seeing that you're offering something to start off, all right? Comments on our niches page. We need comments on our niches page, all right? And that's why we got to go back to engagement. Guys, we're doing this all organically, so our name of the game right now is called organic nurturing. Guys, you need to be making friends. You need to be making connections out there. You need to be commenting, supporting, sharing, liking, engaging, everything. I promise you, if you find the same industry that those people are in, they will then replicate your same energy, vice versa, okay? You guys will both be vibrating on the same frequency. Not only are they pushing your algo, but you're building an algorithm tree around that, all right? I promise, and they're gonna start seeing what you do, and you're gonna find the people who genuinely fuck with you, and the people who just genuinely don't, because they'll either unfollow, not like, and support, and if they do that, you unfollow them and keep pushing, because you need to prioritize your Instagram, right? That is your service. You need to attract what we are, because we will only have success with people who are like us and who are aspiring to be like us, okay? So we start with one platform, always on Instagram. I always recommend starting Instagram. That's how I started. It built the most financial, stable system that I needed to keep going on my journey. All right, why is that? I heard it was the hardest app to get paid on, but if you figure it out, you'll get paid. So the past 7 years, that's all I did was show who I am, my journey, and how I got to where I got. Okay, so your first few posts on Instagram should be literally talking about your journey, right? Talking about everything you've been through, whether that be good, bad, ugly, sad, dramatizing, vulnerability is gonna be key here, okay? And you need to pin these, one in the highlights, and that's another thing, your highlights, they all need to be dialed in, all the same colors, same aesthetics with these two options, right? You need one that says, my clients, okay, or client wins, whatever it is you want. We need proof, all right? And then the second one, I always do one of me so people know who I am and where I've been. And then my story, and then one of YouTube, one of Snapchat, and one of TikTok, all right? And then after the highlights, we need to be posting the following, all right? So we need a carousel of our story. That should be pinned in your main profile. I want a timeline of like what all you went through and why, because when people go through there, man, they're looking for a service, they want people that they can resonate with. And if you happen to play college football in 05, and then guess what, that guy that came across your profile played college football in 08, guess what, now he thinks you guys are twins, and I promise you that's 1-0 on you before the other coaches, all right? Not only that, but our story of our reels, okay? I need a timeline of a reel, okay? We need to pin all this stuff. And then we need to be bringing out our authentic self through our stories and, of course, through our services. Make sure our bios are plugged in, all right? So, guys, this is all for you if you're just starting off, building your own personal brand. These are things I wish I knew from right off get-go. And if I could go back and do it again, I definitely would. So utilize this stuff. Remember, keep it really simple when it comes to traffic source, guys. For wannabe coaches, aspiring creators, and all that good stuff who are building services, why do we want to do organic compared to no ads? Because that's how you build something that's going to stay. Those people will always come back over and over and over. And when you're a good human being, God blesses that with the reaps of fruition to the fruits through all that. Okay, so organic is definitely the freaking way. Once we start making money to 10K, 20K a month, then we can go into ads, and that's where the real change starts to happen, all right? That's where we got to tweak some things. But as of right now, this is exactly where you should be starting, right? So make your offer clarity or nothing else is going to work. If they don't know your offer, they don't know what you're doing, you're tripping. So your story needs to be in there. You need to idolize, like, hey, this is what I do and this is what I don't do. All right, so make sure that's plugged in your bios. Make sure our logos are looking pretty. Make sure the aesthetics are all aligned to where it needs to be so you guys can be great. All right, that's all for this video. Love you guys.